Jesus to preach to the Indians, who the Mormons believe are really Israelites.
This cartoon is explaining the Book of Mormon, which Mormons believe is a non-fiction book about how a few people came from ancient Israel on a boat to the Americas. Joseph Smith said he translated this book from gold plates which he found in the side of a hill, and it is a legitimate historical record. This book is not accepted as a legitimate historic record by anyone who is not a Mormon, but it actually is worse than that. You'll see in the video they're showing white-skinned Native Americans who almost look like Roman soldiers who are fighting the dark-skinned Native Americans. That's because the Book of Mormon legitimately teaches that the wicked Native Americans were cursed with dark skin, and the righteous Native Americans became white and delightsome. This is a screenshot of a illustrated Book of Mormon that I read as a kid growing up. And so the next time a member of the Mormon Church bears their testimony to you about how the Book of Mormon brought them closer to God and Jesus Christ, please ask them to explain 2 Nephi 5:21.
Why are there black Mormons? I have a difficult time understanding how there are black Mormons. Black Mormons make less sense than black Christians, period. But the black Mormons really weird me out because it's not only that story, but what she didn't talk about is the fact of how did the dark-skinned Native Americans and the dark-skinned African, because they talk about the dark-skinned people, all people of color, all dark-skinned people of color, became dark-skinned because there's a whole nother cartoon that they promoted back in the day in the 70s that describes that. Whereas God was trying to determine how to deal with the humans on earth. And Jesus, who was Lucifer's brother, Jesus said, oh, you know, we give them grace and all this sort of thing. And Lucifer was like, nah, we're going to force them to accept the will of God. And so at this conference of the B'nai Elohim, they all had this discussion. And those who sided with Jesus were like white and delightsome. And those who sided with Lucifer, those became the demons and evil entities. The ones who didn't pick a side were sent to earth as the dark-skinned people because they didn't choose one over the other. You either be white and delightsome and walk with Jesus, or you follow Lucifer and you become evil. But if you don't want to choose, if you just want to sit there and be like, well, you know, I'm not exactly sure, hadn't made up a mind, you know, I don't want to be Republican, I don't want to be Democrat, I want to be an independent, you know, you got to win my vote kind of deal, depending, you know, he got some good stuff, but he got some good stuff, and he got some bad stuff, and he got some bad stuff. Then you were made into the people of color. And you were then cursed to serve the white and delightsome. Even in heaven, you are cursed to serve the white and delightsome, according to the Mormon religion. This is why they didn't allow black people to become priests in the Mormon religion. And all these things are there, written by Joseph Smith, written by Brigham Young. And according to the Mormon belief, every time a person like Brigham Young comes up with new stuff, it is supposed to be a New Testament based on God delivering that message to this new person in charge. And it wasn't until President Jimmy Carter decided that if you don't allow black people to become priests, if you continue to have your racist ways, we're going to take away your 501c3. And it was at that point that the Mormon Church in Utah stopped teaching this message and have been trying to distance themselves ever since. Some of the most recent distancing only happened in and around 2020, that they started saying that these teachings were false teachings, that these teachings were not the true teachings of Mormonism. I don't know if I'm on a list, but I used to get the little Mormon boys come to my house, but now it seems that whatever address I have, the little Mormon boys don't show up anymore. So I think I might be on some kind of list because I think I converted a few of them to stop believing in Mormonism because of the racist attitude of Mormonism and the fact that these gold plates have never been proven, never been found. No one's ever seen them. These are just claims by Joseph Smith. And we know that Joseph Smith was a criminal and he was trying to get away from the American government at that time frame, mostly because he was marrying these little young girls and had multiple of these little young girls that he had married and ran out to Utah. So I want to hear you guys' opinions. What do you think about the Mormon church and all this stuff that they've been saying. So always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.